Okay. All right. We are live October 5th, 2022 at 8:03 p.m. on the dot. I'm your host, OU Flag Guy, on this wonderful group therapy edition session of OU Texas. And I'm joined by Gavin, Swiggy, and Justin. Gentlemen, how are y'all doing this evening? And why is OU going to get blown out like a bajillion points this Saturday?
We won't get blown out.
You say we're not going to get blown out, but I have this gut feeling that it ain't going to go so good for us.
Victory or death.
Justin, you're giving me a look like you're very disappointed in us. Or his screen is stuck. One of the two. Oh, yeah. That's us. That's us. Trust me. Gavin, how are you, buddy?
Oh, well, other than trying to figure out what we're going to do, if anything, that's what I'm looking at. And I got to ask.
Defense needs to get in the corner.
What?
Are we even live right now? Because I see where it says scheduled right now.
Yes. Yes.
Y'all's entire defense needs to go to the corner.
Bro.
Go to the corner.
So much issues. We have so many issues. It's not our fault. It is our fault, but it's not our fault. But regardless of what happened Saturday, whether OU pulls a miracle out of their hat and cashes in a lot of receipts, or Texas smells blood in the water and obliterates us a bajillion points to nothing, it's still OU Texas week. We don't do horns up in this one. We do not. We do horns down. So let's start with our fun question of the night as a starter off. Question of the night is, if you have been to OU Texas, what is your favorite food you have gotten from State Fair, Texas? And if you're not, what's your favorite fried food in general? So we're going to start with Swiggy because I know you've been to OU Texas.
Oh, yeah. You know what? I'm actually going to do a tie here.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, they're two totally different foods. One hot, one cold. You have to, whenever you go to a fair, have to get a deep fried Snickers bar and a Dole Whip.
I would say if you're going to get the deep fried Snickers, get it early because in the day, those are not deep fried Snickers anymore. They've been sitting there for so long in that oil. Oh, goodness. Oh, goodness. And now you said Doyle, though? That one's new. Dole Whip. Dole Whip. I think that one's new for me. Where do you get that one at? What is it? Explain.
Dole Whip is basically it's pineapple juice, frozen pineapple chunks, and vanilla ice cream.
Sounds good. That sounds delicious. Justin, I know you have not been to the State Fair of Texas, but what is your favorite fried food or food you've gotten from a fair in general?
I haven't been to a fair in a while, but what I can say is obviously I'm a fan of the traditional funnel cake with powdered sugar and strawberry topping. My favorite fair food to get is a tie between something called a prana puff, which is basically a pretty long ass corn dog with special kind of batter and a turkey leg.
Nice. That sounds delicious. Standard stuff. Very standard stuff. Gavin, I also know you have not been, I believe you have not been to State Fair, Texas. So what is your favorite fried food and or favorite food to get from the fair?
Oh, well, Justin just pretty much took my answer. So, it was basically I got to get the funnel cake. You always got to get a funnel cake when you're at the fair. It's kind of a good.
Gotta do it.
Along with the good old corny dog.
Ooh, corny dogs.
The deep battered corn dogs. I mean, you got to get it, because that's always a good staple right there. Because you always got to get some sort of food on the stick, and that's the original on the stick food to get.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's mandatory. You always need to get one fried food and one food on a stick. Sometimes both.
Yeah.
Yep. I gotta say,
give me some deep fried butter.
That's also deep fried as well. You gotta deep fry the butter in the deep fry.
How about no?
I've
I've had deep fried Oreos before. So.
Butter. Butter up that bacon, boy.
Yeah. Now,
Mm.
there has been something that they've been trying over at the state fair that I haven't even gone to or anything, but they've been trying pickle shakes and pickle pizza.
Yeah, I mean, that's been a new thing. I mean, not a new thing, but I've seen that a lot in other places. That's kind of standard.
I mean, I'm fine with the pickle shake, but when you put pickle on a pizza, that's just atrocity right there. I'm sorry. I know it's fair food, but I just don't think pickles should be on a pizza. Then again, we get to the whole pineapple discussion.
But pineapple should be on pizza. But no, my favorite.
Yeah, pineapple should be on pizza. That's the most correct take I've heard this entire year so far.
All right.
I'll take it or leave. If you put pineapple pizza in front of me, I'd eat it.
Yeah.
All right.
I have to say, mine from the state fair, I'm a simpleton. I am a simpleton. I love my caramel apples. For fried food, probably either a funnel cake or a Belgian waffle. Sean introduced me to the Belgian waffle, and I am a fan. But I like all the food because I'm a pig, and I'm going to eat whatever it is and be very sad on the way back as all that grease. Have y'all seen what the State Fair of Texas has this year?
I was looking at it earlier, but I forget.
Oh, gentlemen. We have to share this. We have to go through this together.
Okay.
As a team. So this is what the State Fair has this year of the winner of the best taste, the fried corocha board, the best sweet taste, the peanut butter paradise. The most creative is the chata, and it all looks fantastic. Like, I need food, guys. Just give it to me now.
Peanut butter paradise.
Let's see. Let's see. Peanut.
Deep fried peanut.
Here it is. Man cannot live by. It's a deep fried honey bun, and caramel is injected into the honey bun, topped with creamy peanut butter. The treat is then layered with some peanut butter treats, Reese's crushed Butterfingers, topped with peanut butter cups, drizzled caramel, and a cloud of powdered sugar injected right into your veins. Sugar.
Excuse me while I go pack for the fair.
Are you a big peanut butter person?
Yes, I am.
Dude, oh, I love it. Last year, you'll like this one, Justin. Last year when I went to State Fair of Texas, they had deep fried gumbo balls and chef's kiss.
You told me about those.
Get this, at least this huge. Like, they give you like what you would think, like at a gas station where you get like one of the things to put like a hot dog in, like one of the paper things. It's as big as half of that. And then you get your sauce and they're like, good luck. Oh, it's so good. So good. You wouldn't think so. Fried seafood and like a hush puppy. It's fantastic. It's fantastic. Let's see what this is while we're here with it. The Cotterachor board. I want to see what's all on this. Here we go. Meats, cheeses, and fruits. Oh my. Chopped up fresh mozzarella, salami, and crisp green apples are tossed in olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and herbs. Then the ingredients are wrapped in a wonton wrapper. I'm already sold. This sounds delicious. Let's go now. Great.
Road trip.
Great. Oh, see, they always do the fun ferment stuff. But yes, cannot always a perfect tradition. Just go down there. Even the only issue is can you eat fried foods and all that grease at 8 a.m. in the morning? That's the question.
No.
Yeah. When you're hungover, of course you can.
That's fair. If you're coming in from Weston, sure. Sure.
No, the only good way to do OU Texas, go out at 8 p.m. the night before. Just keep on partying. Don't go to sleep. Go to the state fair. Get some fried food, and then pass out and miss the game. Easy as that.
So what you're saying is you've done this before.
No comment.
Probably not. That doesn't sound like a one-time experience either, Swiggy.
It's like you have experience or something.
It's like you got like archives of every single particular experience with that.
No comment. So since we do want to focus on OU Tech stories and swapping stories, but before we get to that point, we gotta go through the tough part. We gotta go through it. So let's go through group therapy number 2, Wednesday edition. Let's get our demons out. Let's speak our final thoughts on the OU-TCU game, because boys, that team sucked and our team is garbage. Let's just get it out there.
Let me start the topic for all three of you one at a time. Answer me this: what the actual F was that?
Okay, so you have to take it in pieces because it is a snowball effect, but each piece does contribute to the whole. So the first off is injuries. Injuries are one component. They are not the sole reason, or they're not the major reason as well. But injuries, when you're losing 9 starters in a game, you're done. There's no way that you can overcome that on offense and defense. Our starting quarterback went out, which completely killed the offensive side of the ball. Then our best running back went out. I think Marvin Mims went out. Like, it was just a snowball effect. Defense, I'm going to say it, and I have said it before, and I will continue to say it. The defense is not putting the effort in to learn Brent Venables' system, and it's embarrassing them on the field. It's like a kid saying he studied for the test and then getting a big fat L/F on the test from the teacher and getting a shocked Pikachu look from it. The defense is not putting into it, and they've regressed so much, they don't even understand the basic concepts of like pass interference, what holding is, any of that anymore. They suck. They genuinely suck.
The communication can't be there either. I see at least 2 or 3 touchdowns where there's like nobody near the receiver.
Correct. And there's no on-the-field leadership as a result of it. Some of that stems from players who say, for example, oh, we've been in this situation before, and we can handle this. Well, you don't have your magical 5-star quarterback to get you out of this anymore. That's the issue. The other side of it, too, is the defense is not – well, hold on. I have more. The defense is not holding accountable. For the first time in their lives, probably on this team, the defense is being held accountable from Venables from it, and they don't like it because they've been under a different system and they don't trust the guy next to them. We heard David in post-game interview from TCU go, well, I'm doing my job. I don't know about the others. You don't have team cohesion at that point. They don't trust the other guy to make the play when, again, they shouldn't be also doing basically passing the buck off to the other guy to make the play. That makes sense for it. Like, if there's a guy run to you, you should go for the tackle. Don't leave it to the other guy. So there's none of that. There's no accountability for it. And then as well, I'm going to be honest, and I don't care if they dislike me or not, there are certain players on this team, some of them named Justin Broyles, who should not be on the football field at all. They are terrible players, and it's beyond just, oh, they make mistakes. It's beyond that. They are genuinely terrible, bad football players. They should not be on a D1 scholarship. And I stick with that. There are players that should not be on that. Here's the thing as well. Offense, yes, offense has problems, but it is what it is. It's much more simpler. Defense, they have completely thrown up on themselves. It's the worst it's been ever. And I'm going to say it, they deserve to be embarrassed if they're not going to put the effort in. And I do not believe that they are putting the effort in. So that is a grand picture outside of the other team playing to Heisman levels that they have not done all year. Add that in. So it's a cluster. It is genuinely a cluster, and it is what it is. Unfortunately, that's what we have to deal with. And now you're faced with a big situation of this week and next week are going to be your big games. They are going to be your season. You can drop the Texas game and still have the rest of your season in front of you. Huh?
Texas and who?
Kansas. Kansas is undefeated right now, and they could potentially walk into Norman as a top 15, maybe a top 12 team.
Oh, goody! You're playing the Red River rivalry game, but the very next week you're playing like the one team y'all's conference. You want no part of what they are right now. Correct.
Now I think both sides are going to get a little humbling for it. But that being said, these 2 games are going to decide our season, and it's either going to be this team's going to come together and somehow or another get 7-5, 8-4, or they're going to fall flat and go 3-9. They are all over the place right now with it, and it is what it is. Is what it is. Now, Gavin, now you go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, sorry. Okay. So the one thing I will say, and there was this one player too, and I don't know, watching it and everything, But that one play when that, was basically with that safety and everything, it was just like I was so frustrated because the reason why that safety was out there basically left our receiver wide alone. He got baited by the running back, because he was so worried about hitting that short underneath route and basically just let the long ball go. And it's like, bro, come on. You don't let anything go over deep on you. If you want to give up 5-10 yards or so underneath, that's fine. But you do not let anything go over the top of you, period, end of discussion. That is just one thing that I just was so infuriated about. And not only that, it was just somewhat where I kind of felt like, if anything, some of the man-to-man, that one post route that was happening, I think in the second quarter, he just basically kept eyes on the quarterback and just let, everybody go when everybody was in man coverage.
Yeah, they're soft.
Really frustrating.
Yeah, they're soft, and they need to be called out for being soft. That is what they are. They are not at all competitive, and they get burned. Yeah, it is what it is, and people have to accept that. Yeah. The cupboard is showing to be a little more bare than it was when Riley left. That's what it comes to. But also, too, it's inexcusable that you have a defense that cannot tackle, period. That is inexcusable at this point, especially when they're juniors and seniors. Absolutely embarrassing.
Yeah.
That's what happens when you never learn how to tackle.
You would think at this point under Venables, and that's the big thing too, Justin, I'm going to add in, with the mentality of these players who say they've been in this situation, we've done this, they're not, Venables and co are saying, trust the system, trust us that we're putting you in the right positions, trust the process. It's like a math teacher going, trust me telling you, at least right now, I'm teaching you the right method. You may not agree with the method I get to, but if I tell you 2 + 4, 2 + 2 does equal 4. You may not agree that 2 + 2 is the right method. It could be 2 × 2, whatever. They're not trusting the process, and that's the problem. And players have already called out other players saying, yeah, they're not listening to that. It's got to be hammered in them a couple times. So, I mean, I could keep delving into it. It's bad. It genuinely is.
Yeah, and I think if anything, they're wanting to, either like you said, passing the buck too as well. It's like, we need somebody that can actually be that vocal point, if anything. And right now, there is nobody that's basically doing it. It's basically the coaches that are doing all of it. Everybody's just sitting there confused and not really, caring about the team at this point. I think if anything, a lot of people are already chipping out at this point, with the way they're acting right now.
Here's my question to you, Gavin.
It's just,
if you're in Brent Venables and Levy's positions, do you dumb it down so they at least have a competitive advantage on the field, or do you build up for the guys going into next season?
This is probably one of the most difficult. Yeah, it's a really tough decision. But the problem is that, and I will say this because it's also it's a bit of a double-edged sword. Because on one hand, you have the guys that, wanted to stick through and stay it out and, want to be able to put in the process and all the work and everything. But you also get the players that just aren't there too. So I feel like, if anything, you really need to dumb it down at this point and just basically, have it to where you can simplify it, and then the other thing too is that you also have that's also going to be running this new system and everything too. So they're going to be basically building a foundation. So if anything, we are not at the point to where we are at a good, solid foundation at this point. And there was an interesting, tweet that I saw, that I was looking at earlier, saying, how long it took Dabo, Saban, and all them to rebuild, which was 4, 5, 6 years or so. And I hate to say, we're in the rebuilding year because I thought we were just going to be good, reloaded, and go and everything. But it's just at this point, I think we are in a total rebuild right now with the way how this team looks. I mean, I hate to say it, but it's, we're just going to need to rebuild and kind of figure ourselves about our new identity at this point.
Well, yeah. I mean, I figure they're in rebuild and stuff as well, and we all thought they would be. We just didn't think they would be that much of a step back between it. Swiggy, what are you thinking? Do you think we need to completely have them like dumb down, or should we keep pushing forward?
I mean, I would say at the very least, I'm not gonna don't go all the way back, but I think some simplification for the secondary won't hurt. Like even like as long as you're not going back to square one, as long as there's still progress, I think it's fine just to like prevent what's happening in the secondary to happen. I would definitely prefer if we just went through but I would prefer if we went through the growing pains. But you do have to build up some confidence. So I mean, I think maybe a step back wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, just to kind of shore up some of the assignments. Just shore up some of the assignments. But I mean, I don't think, but I definitely would not want to go. I definitely wouldn't want to slide too far back as far as scheming goes.
Justin, did you watch that game on Saturday?
I watched parts of it. Like I said, I saw one of the touchdowns. I think one of the first touchdowns where y'all way that he threw out to a court receiver that was like 15. There was like nobody within like 15 to 20 yards within the guy, and it just felt like, how many points did they score in the first quarter? Like 28, 24, 28?
Something like that.
They scored like 35 or 42, something like that.
No, not in the first quarter.
Not the first
Oh,
quarter.
no, it's the first quarter. I think it was like 21 or 28, yeah.
Yeah,
because it was, we were like, I think 17-13 at one point. It was not that bad in the first quarter.
Yeah. But that one play you were talking about, Justin, I think if anything, that safety just got bit basically because he was worried about that running back coming out of the backfield and just let that ball go over the top of him. That's the reason why they got him over the top, and that was just an assignment issue, not a.
Yeah, it had to be. It had to be. Usually when that happens, that's usually really bad miscommunication. It was 27-10 at the first quarter.
Yeah, and then that read
41-7. Y'all were down 41-7. Y'all were down 41-17.
Yeah, and then that read.
Yeah, and it's.
Yeah, but the read option, that read option with Duggan, though. I mean, we just got burnt on the big plays, and the problem is, I was not expecting Duggan, to get crazy with his legs at that point, on that play.
They know we're weak against. After seeing what Adrian Martinez did, everyone knows we're weak against that. So, trust me. Trust me. You're gonna see some options, and you're gonna see some quarterbacks who normally don't run. Take a chance or two, because if OU is gonna give them that, if you're gonna have that much room, and you don't have to be the fastest person to beat it. So,
yeah,
I couldn't tell what Gabriel's injury was. Was it like a leg injury, or did he get to it?
Oh,
dude, he got a concussion. He got dirty hit.
So he got to it.
No, not even really to it. He was already down, and TCU's guy literally like belly flopped on him.
Oh, it was a cheap shot. Okay.
Yeah, it was a cheap shot.
Right. He got tossed. That's right. I remember now. He was. He was like really broken up about it. I don't think he meant to do it. You saw on the sideline, he was like really broken up about it.
Oh my.
Who, TCU?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Like, yeah. I have no sympathy for him when that was like about a 6 second, like from the point of Dylan already sliding to when he impacted. I'm like, then don't do it, dude. Like you had like a full couple seconds.
Now I remember watching the replay. As soon as I saw, I was like, oh, crap, he's gone.
Here's the other thing too, and this was one of the things this is what one of my coworkers was talking about. It was like when you see your quarterback get laid out like that. I mean, I think we just saw like one or two players that was going after that TCU player. But it felt like, if anything, everybody just sort of just stands still, stand still or anything, and not really basically got ticked off and just basically not everybody going after the guy.
It should have been a bench. It should have been a bench clearing thing, and they didn't, which speaks volumes to the team. They even said, like, boy, if that was my, I think it was Jermaine or Jamal, like, boy, if they did that to my, Jason White, kicked out, and you would have been have to get me from the game. Like, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is the point where I'm thinking to myself, you know, it's like I think if anything, we've just gone. I don't know what to think. I think we've gone. I think we've just gone honeymoon crisis at this point. Almost it feels like, and it's been a like how the heck are we going to manage this emotions, and especially with Texas, who I think Ewers is back if I'm not mistaken, but I know we're going to get into that a little later. It's a man, there's so many weapons right now on the receiving core and everything that's been making me nervous.
Just say it, Gavin. We suck.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, we do.
I mean, no matter what, it's 829 and Texas sucks. I mean, no matter what, that's the same. But say it. Say they are a terrible team because they can't work together and they keep getting burned and they refuse to learn.
Exactly.
Like, I'm not in a disagreement at the moment with the Sooner Scoop guys where they're like, fans need to go out and start booing some of these players to get a fire under their ass to make them do it. I'm not against it at this point. Like, they got to do something. So it is what it is. They got their ass whipped. So anyway,
they really need to wake up, and get something going.
Yeah, they do. They genuinely do, and it's their own damn fault that's on the field. Because here's the thing, I will get upset, and Andrew and Gavin, you know this as a fact. I will rant, moan, gripe, and call out coaches' decisions to fail. Like Mike in that Baylor, great example. Playing them 15 yards off the ball and then blaming them about execution. No, maybe you shouldn't be playing them off 15 yards off the damn ball. I don't have sympathy for players that aren't going to put forth the effort because there's plenty of people behind them that do want to play. Put forth the effort. Put forth the effort, David. Stop blaming it on other people. So it is what it is. So any final thoughts though on this one? So we've exercised our demons.
Y'all's demons.
Oh, and there's more. There's more. There's going to be more.
Oh yeah.
Losses.
What is more skeletons in the closet that you have for me?
No, it's just there's going to be more losses, and it's just there's going to be a lot of therapy this season because at the end of the day, it is a process. But the thing is, though, is this is where it also goes back to that. How do I want to best put this? When Bob walked into the dumpster fire, everyone was okay with a 7-5. We should not be at this level at a 3-2 where Brent Venables is, even with some of the talented players like Caleb and stuff leaving the program. There is a lot of talent on that side. Why is it so bad? And it comes down to some of it's like Dylan. Dylan's a 2-star quarterback. He's not that good. He's our guy. No matter what, at the end of the day, you have to remember, there is nobody behind him. That is why he is our guy. That being said, there's a lot of talent all over the place. And unfortunately, like, we have to deal with it. We have to go through the growing pains this year to get to the next game. So
yeah. But I was going to say, I was and I hate to say that I was listening to RG3's mechanics and everything, but Dylan's base whenever he was throwing the ball, I mean, it was like so bad to where even I could even do better, going in, because it was like he wasn't even comfortable within being in the pocket with his own old lineman. I mean, like, if you see, like, how his feet were spread apart and all that, that's a part of the reason why he keeps overthrowing, because he never gets his feet under him, and he, like, throws at such a weird angle of how he's doing it that he keeps missing every single time.
Yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. So, but anyway, final thoughts. Gavin, any final thoughts on TCU before we focus on Texas? Because at the end of the day, can't change the result that we got our butts whipped, but we still have more games to look forward to.
Can we get rid of teams that are wearing purple at this point? Because I feel like we're just getting beat up with purple teams left and right.
I mean, it happens, man. It happens. What about you, Swiggy? Any final thoughts?
In retrospect, the horns on the toad were sharper than I thought.
That's about right. Justin, any final thoughts?
Mm-mm.
All right, guys, then we're just going to jump right into trivia. So, the Red River rivalry is one of the most storied rivalries in all of college football between OU and Texas. Why is it called the Red River rivalry? Swiggy, Gavin, Justin, do you have any idea why?
No. If I remember, there was like a dispute about the Red River border between Oklahoma and Texas back in the day. That was like, I think back with like I can't remember if it was the Army Corps or something like that though too, but I remember it was like a dispute over that river at that point, if I'm not mistaken.
What about you, Swiggy? What's your answer?
I mean, the Red River is the border between Texas and Oklahoma. That's what I got.
Yep. Justin, if y'all talk about the Red River or anything in Tennessee, anything for history-wise?
Not on my end.
All right, then answer is Gavin is the 1931 Red River Bridge War. Spoiler alert, Oklahoma won because it was a dispute over where the border of the Red River was. Either it ended on the north edge of the shore or the south end. And guess what? It ends on the south end. So Oklahoma won. Texas sucks. So anyway, so let's move on. Let's talk next like 30-ish minutes. Let's just share some memories from OU Texas. Let's have a little bit of fun, regardless of what we expect from the game. Well, 15 minutes. We'll do 15 because we still got to preview the game. Let's have some fun with it. What moments have you enjoyed the most? What do you want to if you've never been there, what is one thing that you would want to experience there? Talk about the wins, talk about the losses. So Swiggy, let's start with you, buddy. What's your favorite OU Texas memory? Favorite play? Because let's all be honest. At the very end of the day, where is it? No matter what, Texas sucks, but we have to focus on the joy because this is probably what we're going to look like at the end of the game. So let's just all be honest at the moment. So anyway, oof.
I'm thinking they're thinking there's some. I mean, man, it's I mean, a lot of it is probably what do you call it? A lot of it's probably recency bias, but man, that sequence last year with that Marvin Mims touchdown catch, going into the 2-point conversion, and then the defense, and then special teams defense just ripping the ball out of Texas's arms. That's just top. That was just top tier last year.
Yeah, I'll throw in one for you. I'll keep going in between people with it. One of my favorites is it was 2011, I think 2010, 2011 or 2012. That intro video they had for ABC's OU Texas game, where it goes through the history. One of the best intros ever with it. Like that was just so neat with it. Like I was at that game and it was like, you're talking about, you remember the production one I'm talking about?
Yeah, it was 2011, and that was with Tom Rinaldi. If that's the one I think you're talking about, is that right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, such a great one. I love that one, and that's a very recent one. But I don't think anybody expected it. No one talked about like an intro video before the game like that, so it was really neat. What about you, Gavin? Obviously, I think all of us can agree we don't have to talk about Superman because Superman, that's every year. So what's another one?
Okay, I'm going to go back, and I was actually going to go a year before you, Josh, in that 2010 game with OU Texas, because it was so much evenly matched at that point. And one of my favorite plays, and a lot of people might not realize it, DeMarco Murray tiptoeing within like the last 5-10 yards between the sideline and the end zone on the north end, and basically dives and gets that ball across the pylon, while tiptoeing. I mean, that is probably one of the most incredible feats of athleticism I've seen, ever played, other than the Superman play. I mean, that is just something that, you just have to have, the guts to just do at that point. I mean, that was it. And then all the nervousness and everything from Landry Jones fumbling the ball, almost losing the game and everything, to where we have to punt the ball, and then Texas basically muffs it at the very end, and basically OU recovers to win the game. I mean, the whirlwind of emotions was probably one of the most emotional wrenched games I've ever watched as an OU fan.
So what you're telling me is we miss Landry Jones.
At this point, it's almost like a game management, though, and everything. It's like a weird thing. Do you take the good with the bad at this point?
Where have you gone, Landry Jones? A nation turns its lonely eyes to you.
He's in Pittsburgh making $4 million on the bench or wherever at right now. So hey, he's living his best life at the moment. To be fair, I think obviously we have to mention he's an acquaintance of mine, Dom Whaley, his run against Texas. Gosh, I hate that he got injured. To this day, I hate that he basically ended his career with the injury. But boy, was him running all over Texas in that game. That had to be special. That definitely had to be special. Justin, anything of recent memory from OU?
I forgot who came back. I remember like 2-3 years ago. I think y'all were down by like 28 points. Y'all came all the way back to beat Texas. I think that was the year that had what's his face. Texas had Sam Elliger, or however you say his name.
No, that was last year.
That was last year. I could have sworn Sam Elliger left by 2 years ago. He's a backup for the Colts.
Oh, wait. Was it that same game where Dicker made the game-winning field goal, Justin? Is that the one you're talking about?
I believe so.
Are you talking about Kyler Murray's one?
Maybe. I remember y'all came back for like 28 down, I believe.
I mean, if you're talking about, like, we still lost that game, but we were down a lot, and Kyler Murray brought us back into within 3 points, but that was 2018.
Okay, it was further back than I thought.
Yeah. Last year's the one where we were really down a whole lot, and what's it called? We were down a whole bunch, and we came
28-7. Yeah.
Yeah, and
maybe it was that one. It was just a different quarterback for Texas. I'm thinking back. I know it wasn't Elliger because Elliger was a backup for the Colts last year.
See, now you're making me look it up. Because...
I think I know who. Wasn't it it was not Martinez. It was the Nebraska starting quarterback. I think that's who you're talking about.
Casey Thompson.
Yeah, Casey Thompson.
If it was, it'd have to be I think
last
2018.
Year.
Yeah, Casey Thompson, that was last year. But if you're talking about the other one where we lost it, that was, I think, Kyler Murray, and that was 2018 because they were up.
Yeah, because I've lost track what quarterbacks y'all had since like Baker, Kyler, and that year y'all had Jalen Hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Another one that I just love, going back to pretty sure it's 2017. The fourth quarter touchdown where Mayfield found Mark Andrews.
Oh yeah. That's one of my favorite ones, just because the gal in the audience where she's like, "Fuck," and the cameraman was like, crap.
Where in the world is two football Mark Andrews?
Mandrews,
okay.
Yeah.
Mandrews,
yeah,
same one on the Baltimore Ravens.
Wait.
Yeah, Mandrews, that Baltimore Ravens.
I didn't know Mark Andrews played in Oklahoma.
Yeah, Mark Andrews, Oklahoma.
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, I never thought about where he played.
Yeah, he was in that perfect offense that unfortunately was screwed over by that Mike Stoops defense. But we don't talk about the dark times.
But we're not talking about that right now.
Exactly. We're not talking about that. We're talking about Texas sucking. Speaking of which, you reminded me of one. So the Mark Andrews one, that's a good one. I have to admit, I forgot his name, but it was one of the pretty boys on Texas who had like the long hair and everything. And it was just like, oh, we're gonna whip up on OU, and no, he never ended up beating OU.
Linebacker. Yeah.
Yeah.
I remember. I know.
Well, I think he beat us like one time with it, but it didn't mean anything in the end.
Oh yeah. I don't know what his name. I actually called him Goldilocks because of all that long golden hair on his back. If anything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It was just funny. He talked a lot of shit, and he was probably one of the worst players every single year.
And you know what was so fun? What was weird was that when they were losing to Oklahoma State, and you will probably remember this, he actually was like, Oklahoma State was trying to take a knee. He was going out the blitz. QB already took a knee, and he was still going after all the OSU players and everything. And him and Tom Herman got both unsportsmanlike conduct.
Wasn't that game between Oklahoma State last year? Wasn't that the game where both of y'all blew double-digit leads?
Yeah.
It was Oklahoma State and it was like with Oklahoma State and it was like Oklahoma State, Texas was what I was talking about. But yeah, it was just like one of those things. It was,
I'm gonna pick an OU Texas moment. That's not quite OU Texas, but you know what? I'm gonna count it. Just because I make the rules here. The Big 12 championship game between OU and Texas, where Calcaterra had that one-handed catch.
Yeah.
Well, not technically Red River, but we played Texas, so I'm counting it.
I like when you mentioned that. By the way, it makes me think of the announcers of when we were blowing out Texas either in 2011 or 2012, and the eyes of Texas have been blackened, and Bevo has turned his back on the Longhorns and said, "That's enough of that." That was great. That was a nice little ass whooping we gave them.
Brett Musburger, I believe, is who you were.
Yeah, it was Musburger. So, yeah. Yeah. What other memories?
Years before, you spent like 3/4 of a national championship game talking about how hot Greg McElroy's girlfriend was.
Yeah, that was weird. Yeah. I was trying to think what other OU Texas stuff. There's so much to pick from, just from recent memory alone, from it. But it provides so much fun. I mean, to be fair, no matter what, the teams have both walked in and they've only won by a touchdown each. So that on its own is an achievement. But yeah.
Okay. Oh, this one. Okay. We weren't gonna. This is early, but I've always loved this one, even though like it's not like some great final moment when when the fullback I forget what his name was, when the fullback leapt over the Texas player. Like that game's already out of hand, but you have it when when a fullback just almost takes it to the house.
Yeah, I was gonna say that fullback. I'm trying to remember which one that was.
I think Millard is who I'm thinking of. Trey Millard.
Oh, Trey Millard. Yeah, his video game move.
Yeah, Trey Millard's video game move. Like it didn't really change anything about the game. We blew him out, but yeah, it's like
I remember that game because I was at that one and it happened right in front of me, but didn't really see the actual full play of it because it happened in front. And then when they showed it on the big screen, everyone was like, "Oh!" Goodness, that's a great one. So many plays happen in front of me with it. My best seat I've ever had is 50-yard line, row 25, when I was a senior in OU. That was a good seat because I got to see what's his face, Texas quarterback in 2012, get lit up on the phone because of how poorly they were doing.
Yeah,
that was fun. So, but guys, we can't avoid the inevitable. Let's talk about this game. We can reminisce all we want. We can talk about OU Texas 2000 and the ass whooping and part of Red October. We could always talk about the state fair food. We can talk about Spygate. We can talk about all of it. They talk about also the overtime that should have not been an overtime. No, you should have won, but that's besides the point. Gotta talk about this game. So,
okay,
go ahead.
Okay. How about this one? What about the? I can't remember, but it was like the. I can't remember what it was called, but it was like the. It was like the. It was like the something game or something like that. I can't remember, but it was like the year before 2099.
1999.
Yeah, there was actually a game when Leach was the OC at that point, and basically, yeah. And what was okay? And here's the interesting part about this was like the game about all of this and everything was like, I guess Texas coaches actually got some of the plays from OU, which they thought it was, but it was actually a dummy script and everything. And it was like, saying these are the plays that they were running out of these different formations, all that and everything. Then whenever Texas did was relying on those plays and everything, and then basically OU kind of just shred them apart defensively and caught them that 14-0 lead before Texas came back to basically beat them.
Well, yeah, because they finally abandoned that script.
Yeah.
And said it was obviously a fake script after like a quarter of it. They tried. There was an attempt, and Mike Leach is a natural at times, and that's one of the so. But yeah, we still have to talk about this game. So, I think all of us in agreement we're going to lose. I think we're all real.
I don't think we're going to lose.
I think we're all realistic, and I think we're going to lose. Now, here's the thing: I'm throwing out stats this week because this game has shown you can't listen to stats.
Yeah.
Kansas State and TCU have shown we have not listened to stats either. So let's approach this from a different angle. Let's say OU has a chance. Because there's a chance. It's maybe 0.01. It's like my dad always says, any given day. Let's assume OU has a chance. What are the keys to the game to OU to have a chance? Because the first one I say is, Lebby, run the damn ball. We've gotten away from running the ball when we've had success with running the ball. To beat Texas, you have to control the time of possession just like Army did to us. You want Texas to stop scoring? Fine. Don't give the ball back to them. That's how you control the game. You got to keep running the ball. Give it to Javonte Barnes, Marcus Major, if Eric Gray's playing. However it is, run the ball to eat up that clock. Make it the most annoying game ever because that's how you're going to win. You can't just do that. That's one of my points. Gavin, do you? Otherwise, I'm just going to keep going.
I think besides just running the ball, I think if anything, with the way the quarterback situation is, just keep the offense simple, if anything at best, so to don't try and overcomplicate it.
I think you have to force turnovers as well.
Yeah.
No, I'm with you on there. I'm just saying on the offensive side of the ball, just kind of keep it simple. Don't overdo it. Just give what the defense gives to you. Take the 5 to 10 yards if you can underneath.
Correct, but you still have to look at it as well. So yeah, if it's Bevel, Evers, or Booty in play, keep the play simple. Keep the short passes. I don't think deep ball is going to matter at this point. You got to keep that. Work the seams. Work something. I think defense
drives.
Yeah, we can't keep doing these 3 and outs. Like every time we have it on offense, we have to score. It does not matter if it's a touchdown or a field goal. You have to score.
Or I don't even say even if we don't score, even if we just move it, change the field position a bit, and give the defense a rest. Because I do, I mean, I know we're off TCU. Nothing could really help that game, but I think at least having a couple long offensive, at least having something kind of long could have helped the defense adjust, where instead it was just like, 3 and out, get back out there and just kind of hope everything works out the way we need it to.
Absolutely. We have to keep the ball going again. Offense. Got to keep doing that. If we don't, they're going to eat our lunch. Defense-wise, turn the ball over. You got to make sure we can turn the ball over against them. You have to get the ball from them. Otherwise, we're going to have a bad day. But more importantly, in my opinion, I've been wrong, but in my opinion, sell out on the run. Stop Bijan Robinson. Force Ewers or Card to throw the ball, hoping that Xavier Worthy's off his game like he has been a couple of times. He's dropped a lot of passes this year. So it's starting to become a noticeable problem. I think you got to focus on running the ball, stopping the run game, and hope from it. I think it's possible. We have the defensive line for it. It's just going to depend on injuries and stuff as well, especially if Bowman is out.
Yeah,
so
I mean, all this game's going to depend on injuries because we don't know if Dylan's going to play. We don't know anything. I mean, that was the sneaky bad thing about TCU. It's not just that we lost; it's that we lost so many bodies.
Correct. That was the bigger loss, in my opinion, too. And gosh, it's just such a bummer. Like how much, because like, oh man, we definitely could have used like more. I think as well, you got to unload on the trick plays. I think you got to have a couple of them in your back pocket ready to go for it, and not rely on Nick Evers or Bevel, whoever it's going to be. You can't rely on them for it, but have those ready to go, whether it's in, around, flea flick, or whatever it is. You got to have those with it. You got to keep Texas not settled in. You got to basically be the annoying team to win this one. That's why I said I don't think they're out, but I'm still favoring like that they're going to lose. Justin, do you have any keys to the game that you would say that be like OU needs to do to potentially just even the playing field against Texas?
Well, for one, stop something.
Yeah.
And also, since Gabriel's, what's the name of y'all's backup that's going to start this week? Since Gabriel's has a concussion,
we have no idea because now Dylan could.
We have no starting yet.
We have no idea. It could be Dylan who could come back. I doubt it, but he could come back. But if he is not, it could be Bevel, it could be Nick Evers, it could be Booty as well, because all of them are taking reps.
If you
Which is an advantage because that means they don't have game film on them.
If you think about Josh, even you could be the starting quarterback if you dream hard enough.
I know, right? That's the best. I could be the starting quarterback. But at the flip side of it too, I also am realistic that there's not enough bubblegums, paper clips, and rainbows and butterflies to tape this together for OU Texas. That being said, yeah, we don't know who the quarterback is. They have not announced that, and that's probably to their advantage that they're not going to announce that. Because now the flip side of it too is they haven't announced either who's playing. Evers is supposed to be back. Ewers is supposed to be back, but they're both, him and Carter are freshmen. That's to our advantage as well. Because here's the thing. Well, that's the other thing that's potentially maybe slightly keeping us in the game. Texas's team is very, very, very young. Their O-line, they think they're better than they are, but their O-line is very, very young, and I think our O-line can't handle a full line of freshmen. I genuinely think.
And if Ewers isn't healthy, man, I wouldn't sit him out there for OU Texas when you already have 2 losses. I just straight wouldn't. I know you want reps. I know you want to do stuff, but like if there's even a slight question, well, is he healthy and ready to go? Wait a week, because if you really believe this guy is going to be your future, you don't want to make things worse for him if he's not fully healthy. Now, if he's fully healthy, then yeah, send him out there. I'm just saying if there's a question mark about his health, I wouldn't force him. But
well, and you have Card, and Card's been doing fine, so it's like, yeah. So, yeah. So anyway, Justin, do you have any thoughts for it as well? What could play to OU's advantage, or even just leveling the field to make it competitive?
Well, what's the health of y'all's running back?
What you said? What?
What's the status of the running back that left the game? Will he be able to start?
So here's the thing. Gray left the game and he's injured. We have no idea what his injuries are at the moment if he play. However, to our advantage, we do have depth at running back with Javonte Barnes and Marcus Major. So we do have guys ready to go. And I'll be honest, based on even Gray's been picking it up, but man, Javonte Barnes is just at another level. Like, Gavin, Swiggy, do you agree on that? Like, Javonte Barnes, like, he has some energy that Marcus Major brings. I think you got to feed him the rock.
Yeah, you got to give him some reps at this point with the way the running back situation is. I know we got 3 backs in there, but man, we need a jolt, and I think Barnes would be the guy to do it.
Do y'all have a feeling that this is going to be a sloppy game?
Yeah.
It's going to be sloppy no matter what.
For both sides, not just OU. I just keep having this thought go back and back, and it's been since Monday, that this is going to be a very sloppy game between both teams because Texas, they have a very young O-line
We may have lost Josh. Can you guys hear me?
Oh yeah, I can hear you. I think
Yeah,
I hear
it's
you.
Josh.
Yeah, okay, we may have lost Josh. Okay, I'll
Yeah.
kind of continue. I'll continue with what Josh was saying. I mean, he's right. Texas does have a young O line, and they have a young quarterback. Where OU's had problems this year has been. Well, look, I mean, Adrian Martinez has been around for 20 years in the NCAA at this point. And yeah, OU seem to, both games OU's played some quarterbacks who've been around a little bit. Um, with Card, it might make a difference. Um, yeah, I mean, but if they play Ewers, yeah, I mean, he has 2 starts. Yeah, he has 2 starts under his belt, but he didn't finish against Alabama. I just think that that does give us some kind of an advantage as far as that goes. Where I mean, how good can Ewers read a defense? Well, I
Yeah.
mean,
Well,
he looked decent against Alabama, but that's such a small sample size. We don't know. We don't know.
yeah,
And
and the
Alabama
thing
doesn't
is,
have the tape on him either.
Yeah.
yeah, but
Sorry,
the other thing,
I think Josh is still having internet problems.
yeah, yeah, I
Go on,
think
good.
he is.
Go on, Gavin. What
Here
were
we
you
go.
gonna say?
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say because it almost feels like if anything, like um the most part for me, if anything, was like the offensive formations that I've seen, mostly a lot of pistol formations, and it was just something to where I see where they have like 2 tight ends and two tight ends and 1 back, and it feels like it's going to be mostly like it's going to be max protect, almost be somewhat like a max protect at some point, and then basically like you're going to go ahead and show the deep bomb because he has a hell of an arm for the most part, and I will say he has a hell of an arm. So I think if anything, with secondary we talked about too, and this was the one thing, and I was kind of bring up too. It's like I always have issues with the secondary because most of our guys are considered around 5'10", 5'11", when we've always get guys that play against receivers that are like what 6'4", 6'5", 6'6",
Yeah,
and who's going to win those one-on-one balls more times than not?
tall guys.
And it's like that's the one thing that I feel. Yeah, so it's like it frustrates me because I'm not angry at those shorter guys, trying to get with DPIs and all that, but it's like when you put them out on an island and you're asking them to defend, a radius that's twice as larger than what they can play to. That's just the one thing that's I think has been more frustrating at this point because we really need to recruit guys to have a little bit more size in the secondary.
Yeah. But that's also too down the road as well with it. And I think Brent Venables understands that. But at the same time, it's like, yeah.
It's like it's not something that you're going to fix overnight. Of course, I know that's going to be recruiting them too, but that is going to be the biggest issue, if anything, that we're going to have to, deal with. If anything, seeing the same thing over and over again. Like I mean, Woody Washington's like what? He's like what? 5'9", 5'10", I would say.
I think he's bigger than that, but potentially, yeah.
But yeah, it's like. And and it's like, and I know I'm going back to the TCU game, but that receiver that they have, I think it was Richardson, if I'm not mistaken, if the name's wrong, and all that. But most of the receivers that they were going up against, they were like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", at best. And it's like, it was just a simple box out, catching the ball. I mean, it was just it. I mean, it's like I'm not trying to say I'm blaming this, the DPIs or all that or anything. You're asking them to do such a tall task to where it's hard for them to basically, win you a ball game when you're so undersized.
But at the same time, they should also still be trying to do the fundamentals, though. I mean,
well, no, I'm with you. I'm with you on that though too. The fundamentals part of it, and then kind of goes back to the coaching though too, like you talked about with the off the line of scrimmage and all that. But it's just one of those things to where I'm just kind of so irritated, with the fact of how much besides just the fundamentals, it's like, it's just a simple box out. That's just all it is at this point.
Yeah. Where do you think Texas's weaknesses are at?
I mean, if anything, and I've kind of just say this, you know, I think the offense for Texas has always been a strong part, other than the O line, with the young faces, like you mentioned, Josh. I'm very weary about them defensively because it's like, I know Texas can score, but I just don't, but if I'm a Texas fan, I'm kind of more, concerned about, how their defense will come to play. I mean, other than Alabama, I mean, they kind of was having some issues and struggles with Texas San Antonio, and then like Texas Tech, they've had struggles. I just think, if anything, I would be more concerned about with how their defense would be playing at this point.
Well, that's why I said, like, look, I feel like we're gonna get murder faced, but at the same time, I keep thinking maybe there's a chance, potentially.
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
don't know.
because the thing is, Texas defensively is not the best strong suit at this point. It's basically all it is, and it's like, and I know I'm not saying it's exactly like Riley, but go ahead and put as many points on there and everything, and defense just try and get a stop here or there. That's just all it is.
Yeah. I think one of the other things we have to keep in mind is if OU wants to win besides the turnover, in my opinion, I think that they have to stay within a couple points of Texas. You can't let it get out of hand. You can't waste any drives. If
Yeah.
you think it's 3-0, you got to figure something out with it. Now, I'm not going to be crazy and say go for it on fourth down every single time, but yeah.
Being aggressive would not be the worst thing here.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
But and I would be, and it's kind of like how you said too. It's just going to be, playing on, field position, and especially on which end of the field you're playing in, because it's like and this, Josh, more than anything, like when you're playing on the other end of the field, it is, totally different, because it can shift from one side to the other in such a heartbeat to where you are like wondering what happened.
Yeah, I mean, especially in this
and I think if anything,
game, like you
gotta. You got, and I think if anything, and this is something I would love to see, and we've talked about they need to have a fire lit under them. We need something that find that drive emotionally, at this point, because I feel like we just have been playing through the motions at this point. I want to see some of that passion and fire back. I mean, heck, I will say this: I would love Venables at some point to have some fire or something going on in him, because he's been so reserved at this point to where I'm kind of, wondering if anything, can he get some fire, as well, to kind of show this team that he's fighting along with them.
Yeah.
I mean, I understand it's different from being a DC to a head coach, but I would love to see some of that fire and stuff and everything. Bob Stoops was having that fire. So was Mike Stoops and all these other coaches and everything. I want to see some fire and passion out of the coaching staff at this point.
Yeah. Again, I think they will get up for Texas. The question is when will it get out of hand? Because again, I think Texas is going to win, but at what point is it going to get out of hand? So, but that all being said, it's time for our last 20 minutes of our segment, guys, which means it's time for our favorite part of the segment. So first off, thank you to all the new subscribers. We had 2 new subscribers over the past week, so we're at 183 total. 1 hidden, and T-Main 87. I want to give a shout out to you for subscribing. I genuinely appreciate it. Again, I always want to support everybody who comes in and watches us on Sundays, Wednesdays, and supports all the individual stuff. So thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Oh, whoop. Sorry about that. I clicked the wrong one. So now we're on to our favorite part, pick'ems. So are y'all ready for our pick'ems? Because boy, did we hit it again this week. I feel like we have a potential for like picking the right teams, and then for everything else, it's just we crap the bed on it. Because goodness, our picks. Let's see. I have to find the right one. 1 second. I hate when I'm looking for something and it's like I know where it's at, but all right, 1 second. Just had it. This is why we can't have the nice things. Huh. Wonder where it went. All right, 1 second. I have a different way for this. So I'll put it this way. Any final thoughts on the game for like before we move into pick'ems?
On Saturday, we dine in hell.
So what you're saying is this is our last stand.
I don't know,
Not good
maybe.
tidings. That's not good
Maybe.
tidings. Here we go. All right.
Maybe. Who knows?
So as you can see, we kind of stunk it up again. Andrew, you went 2-4. I went 2-4. Gavin and Justin, both y'all went 1-5. Obviously, the OU TCU game completely annihilated our picks, but so did that Baylor and Oklahoma State game.
Yeah.
Baylor actually, or Oklahoma State showed up and they took care of business against Baylor, which is something of where's Baylor at? Baylor's kind of going through the same question as well. Now, they have a more competent team, in my opinion, than where we're at, but they were taken care of soundly. Kentucky almost threw up on, or did not upset Ole Miss, but Ole Miss almost threw up on themselves to lose that game. Wake completely surprised everybody and defeated Florida State.
Yeah.
And then, of course, Michigan and Clemson took care of NC State and Iowa, respectively, for it, which is where the points came from. So just it is what it is. That's kind of the picks. What kills us is we would have more correct ones if we were closer to the spread. The spread seems like is what's killing us every single week. But that all being said, gentlemen,
That's why I don't gamble.
That's why I don't gamble either.
Neither do I.
The moment I gamble is the moment I lose. So that all being said, let's move into our week 6 pick'ems. Here we go. All right, we've got 6 games lined up. Obviously, the OU Texas game, but we're going to start with a fun one. College game day for the first time ever is in Lawrence, Kansas, to see the purple team, aka Purple Texas, aka TCU Horned Frogs, visiting the number 19 Kansas Jayhawks, who are having a wonderful year so far. Both of those teams are undefeated, and both of those teams are undefeated in conference play as well. TCU is favored at -7 at 11 a.m. game in Lawrence, Kansas, with 50 degrees at kickoff. So starting with Andrew, who are you feeling in this one? Are you feeling the Horny Toads of TCU, or are you feeling the Jayhawks?
I'm going TCU, and I do believe they're going to cover the spread.
Any particular reason why?
I think Kansas has had a great year so far this year. They there's definitely a lot of good there, but beating Duke, beating Iowa State team that struggle against Iowa, it just feels like it's a little bit different. I think Kansas keeps it close until the fourth quarter, but I do think that TCU pulls away.
Gotcha. Gavin, TCU or Kansas?
I'm gonna go TCU, and I think they'll cover.
Any logic for it? Any particular reason?
I think if anything, and I hate to sentiment the same thing with Swiggy here, but I think the other thing too is that we haven't seen this Kansas defense really been tested. I mean, Duke put up 23 on them, and I'm not really 100%, confident within the Kansas defense, and with how TCU's offense is looking at this point right now. I think Duggan, I think being that senior in that leadership role, if anything, at this point, I think he will take you further down the conference at this point. So I think he would be the main factor.
Gotcha. Justin, who do you got? TCU or do you got Kansas?
I'm also going to take TCU, and I think they'll cover pretty much for the same reasons they both said. Mostly for what Gavin said, that as great as it is that Kansas is undefeated, this is really their first major test.
Yeah. Let's see. There we go. I'm also going to mirror the same thing. I'm going to do TCU, and I do think they're going to cover the spread. I think the biggest thing is Kansas really hasn't been challenged this year. And I think that's going to change with TCU. I think TCU is what OU wanted to be this year, and we're seeing that on the field. OU is very chaotic. TCU is not. I think Max Duggan can take care of it, and I just think Kansas is going to get humbled a little bit. So give me TCU and give me -7. For the fourth week in a row, though, we've got the Michigan Wolverines on big noon kickoff at Iowa Hoosiers. Michigan is 4-0, and
Wait.
Iowa. I mean Indiana. Indiana 3-1 on the season as well. Michigan is favored by 22. It is also an 11 a.m. kickoff at Indiana, mostly sunny at 50 degrees at kickoff. Now, what was that, Gavin?
I was just gonna say, watch your eyes there, man. You would have a lot of folks being upset up in the Midwest if you get those two confused.
Iowa, Indiana, look, if they can score over 10, I'll correct it. Anyway, Gavin, it's your turn. Who do you have in this matchup? Michigan for the fourth week in a row and big noon, or do you smell an upset?
Ian, I really don't have a lot of confidence in Indiana. I will say Michigan at this point, and that they will cover.
Ooh, so you're going with the -22.
Oh yeah, it's a. I think if anything, Michigan's offense and defense is going to be a lot more talented, and they got a lot more talent on there. Indiana is kind of just is at the very bottom of the pit when it comes to football. I mean, other than the COVID year, but they just historically have not been the greatest.
Exactly. Justin, Michigan or Indiana?
I think Michigan as well, and yeah, I think they'll cover. They'll cover. I never really saw Indiana as a football school, and I don't see that starting now.
Gotcha. I am also going to take Michigan. However, I think Indiana's going to cover. I don't think Indiana's going to or Michigan's going to be tested by Indiana. However, that 22 spread against Indiana, who has put up points against other teams, including that close one with Illinois, man, I just don't see how Indiana doesn't keep it within 2 scores at that point. I could be wrong, they could get blown out by 40, but I just don't have that feeling this particular week. And this is the fourth 11 a.m. kickoff with Michigan. I think with an away game as well, Indiana's going to keep it close. And by close, I mean before the spread. What about you, Swiggy?
Yeah, same thing. I'm taking Michigan, but Indiana's going to cover. 22 points is a lot. I mean, that's more than 3 touchdowns. We've seen Michigan struggle. We saw Michigan struggle to cover against Maryland. I don't think Michigan's going to be. I agree. Michigan's not going to be in danger. I don't think anything weird's going to happen with them. But 22 is a big point spread, and I'm just not sure they'll get there.
I don't either. I think it's just a thing with it. So next up, we've got number 8, Tennessee, who survives, but is still 4-0 and 1-0 in the conference and has a potential maybe to win the East versus number 25, LSU, who is 4-1 and 2-0 in conference play on the season, with their sole loss coming to Florida State and that awkward missed PAT. Tennessee is favored at 2.5 of an 11 a.m. kick in Knoxville. Again, mostly sunny at 50 degrees at kick. Justin, it's your turn, buddy. Who do you have, Tennessee or LSU? Is it going to pain you to pick Tennessee?
I'm not really that perspired against the Volunteers, but even though Tennessee is a real good team, and honestly wouldn't surprise me if they win, I'm going to go on a limb and say LSU gets the upset strictly because Death Valley is not an easy place to play. It wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee wins, but I'm just gonna that's pretty much my wall pick of the group.
Gotcha. That's fair. I mean, this is a close game. It
wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee pulls them out, though. Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if Tennessee won easily, though.
Yeah. I'm going to take Tennessee, and I'm going to take Tennessee with the -2.5. My reasoning is I want to believe this is Tennessee's year, and Heupel is doing a great job. I think Tennessee is pretty focused, and even though they're getting close, like with Florida, of throwing up on themselves, I don't think Brian Kelly is going to beat Heupel in this matchup. I'm not going to say in the future, but I think in this matchup, Tennessee is feeling the momentum and getting its groove and has a crash course with Alabama at the moment. Potentially both of them undefeated. So give me Tennessee. And I'm not as intimidated with Death Valley at 11 a.m. Andrew, Tennessee or LSU?
I'm going to, the fact that an undefeated Tennessee and Alabama would be really, really cool to see happen. That's the exact reason why it's not going to happen. We can't have cool things. We can't have cool things in college football. LSU is going to win this game. Barely,
dang.
they're going to win.
That has to be the quote of the night. While it is cool, it ain't going to happen.
Yep.
Gavin, who do you got? LSU or Tennessee? We're pretty split on this one.
You know what? I'm gonna make it even. I'm gonna make it even, and I'm gonna go with Tennessee. I just think Tennessee has like the better talent. Brian Kelly, it's his first year. He's still kind of getting some of the pieces, around him working and everything. I just can't really see them, beating this team, and I just don't think LSU at 11 a.m. will be a big factor at this point. It's an early game.
Do you think LSU is going to cover or Tennessee?
Oh, I think Tennessee. I think I'm just going to take Tennessee all the way. I think they'll win by a touchdown. So
cool. Next up, we've got number 11 Utah, who's 4-1 but 2-0 on the conference, versus number 18 UCLA, 5-0, 2-0 on the conference. Utah is favored at 4.5, and Pasadena, California, sunny at 87 degrees at kickoff, and I believe it's a 2:30 kick. I'm going to take Utah with the spread. I think UCLA is slowly getting better under Chip Kelly, but this is a returning Utah squad that, even though they've already lost one, I don't think UCLA is going to be the team to beat them. Unfortunately, I do think they're up against and on a crash court days with USC, though. I don't think that they face USC till next week, but I do think that, let me check that. 2022 USC. I think it's next week. I don't think they're going to be looking ahead, but I do think that it's going to be a close game. Yeah, they face them next week, but it is at Utah. I think they are going to take UCLA serious so they can face USC and potentially even hand USC its first loss of the season. So give me Utah at 4.5. Andrew, Utah or UCLA?
Utah, and they're going to cover.
Any particular reason?
I mean, Utah's only really bad game was an opening week game against Florida, and the Pac-12. UCLA is in Florida. The Pac-12 is in Florida. Utah's going to win.
That's fair. Gavin.
I think I got Utah and I got them covering, and I'm just going to say this. I think Utah, is a much more physical and much more aggressive team than UCLA is. Now, you do know that. Sorry about that. I lost my part there for a second. But I think, if anything, even though that quarterback for UCLA has a tremendous talent, I don't think he's going to be able to face like a good, talented defensive Utah team. And I think, if anything, they're going to be able to kind of shut him down and kind of force him to be one-dimensional.
Gotcha. Justin, who do you got? Utah or UCLA?
I'll make unanimous to go with Utah. No really much reason except screw LA.
Okay. Final one before the OU Texas prediction. Number 16, BYU, who is 4-0 on the year, versus 2-2 Notre Dame. Notre Dame is favored by 3.5 at South Bend. It's going to be partly cloudy and at 6:30 p.m. at night with upper 50s at kickoff. We've had a lot of 50s in the northern part of the country. So, Gavin, do you got the Mormons or do you got the Catholics?
I think, if anything, I'm probably going to go with BYU.
Really? Any particular reason?
I think, if anything, BYU just seems more sound around. Notre Dame just hasn't been finding its footing that it's needed to. And I just think, if anything, with Freeman as the coach there, I just think he's still trying to figure stuff out over there and trying to get adjusted with these new guys. It just seems like he just hasn't got a good hold of the program at the moment right now.
Gotcha. Justin, BYU or Notre Dame?
I'll take BYU as well. Probably a reverse line of thinking that I had with LSU Tennessee. That was honestly more of a hunch, but yeah, like Gavin said, the new Notre Dame coach is so clearly trying to get a hold of the new system. You mean freaking lost to Marshall, and that pretty much speaks for myself.
Gotcha. So I'm going to differ from both of y'all. I am actually going to pick Notre Dame. I think BYU is honestly frauds. I think that BYU
they probably are, honestly.
Yeah, I just don't know. Notre Dame has struggled, but so has BYU. They only beat Baylor because Baylor was out their star stuff. So give me Notre Dame. I will take Notre Dame at the spread, though. Swiggy, who do you got for me, buddy?
We've shown that Notre Dame are frauds this year. What happens when a fraud beats another fraud? Notre Dame's going to win.
You're going to pick them at the spread?
Yep.
Notre Dame at the spread.
Yep. Notre Dame's going to win.
It's probably gonna come back to bite me, because I remember picking BYU to be Washington. I think it was Washington. I believe. No, not Washington. Was it Washington?
No, it was one of them.
Oregon.
Yeah.
They got the shit wrecked.
If you want to change your pick, I'm not gonna stop you. We haven't moved on yet. If you want to change it,
you know what? Yeah, I'll switch to Notre Dame. Screw it.
You're gonna switch to Notre Dame?
Yeah, I'm like way below 500. Who cares?
Do you want the spread, or do you want to just keep it Notre Dame?
I'll take the spread.
Okay. All right, gentlemen, we're in the last part of it. OU versus Texas, both entering for the first time since I think 1998. Where both of them are entering 3-2 since 1998, and for the first time in 70 years, where both of them are unranked. OU is 3-2 and 0-2 in the conference. Texas is 3-2 but 1-1 in the conference. Texas is favored by 11 a.m. kickoff in the wonderful world of Dallas, Texas, at the Cotton Bowl. Mostly sunny, 70 degrees at kickoff. It's gonna be good weather, and I'm going first. I'm gonna go first in this one because I'm sticking by my notions for it. I think Texas is going to beat us. I think it's going to be a close game. I think Texas will cover the spread. My logic is no matter the amount of paper clips, bubblegum, butterflies, and wishful thinking, I just see there's too many barriers for OU to overcome. And now here's my other logic. I've been wrong. So by picking the opposite team, hopefully we will win. So give me Texas. Give me that. But I'll do this because I cannot give them that full one. So give me Texas, but give it to me that way. So Andrew, who do you have? Or no, for Gavin, do you got OU or do you got Texas? Make me a believer.
Okay, I'm just gonna say this. I'm gonna just say ride and die with OU. I'm just gonna ride and die. That's all.
All right.
Say.
All right. Prove me wrong. I want to come back next week wrong. I want to come back. Make me a believer. Justin, do you got the Sooners or do you got the Longhorns? Who will win in this fried batter state fair? I thought I was going somewhere with that, but I'm not.
It's honestly kind of a toss-up for me because, let's just face it, y'all both suck. But
hey, this is going to be the most glorious tickle fight you have ever seen in your life. But unfortunately, Texas is probably going to walk in with a pillow full of bricks. But you never know. Oh, you could walk in with something heavier. But that all being said, who do you have, Justin? You're not going to hurt my feelings if you pick against us.
Hey, what is the line, like 7 for Texas?
It's 7. Mm-hmm.
I will say Texas wins, but I'm going to say they do not cover. It'll be a flag field goal.
And that's fair. That is very fair because it's been a 7-point game since 2014. Andrew, who do you got? Are you riding and dying with OU?
You put the Texas logo upside down on purpose?
Yes. Like, look, I'll be all for saying yes, they can win, and I will. So I'm not a homer. And like, yes, I respect that we can lose. But I'm not going to put those horns up. Heck no. Heck no. So, yes, they are turned upside down. No flags here. No flags here. Andrew, you're the final pick. Are you riding and dying with OU, or are you looking more realistic and going with the Longhorns?
On the one hand, rivalry games always have weird things happen. On the other hand, this weekend Cleveland Guardians are in the playoffs, and they're playing their playoff game at the same time as OU Texas. So on the one hand, in theory, OU should lose because both teams losing would cause me the most pain. But you know what? I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to feel good. If I'm going to go down, I'm going down swinging. OU with the upset.
Oh, wow. All right. All right. We got some believers. Make me a believer, Gavin and Andrew. Please make me a believer. Now, that all being said, Andrew, what do you think the final score is going to be?
I just see. If it's going to be, it's going to be close. I could definitely see a 42-34 game.
Okay. Actually, you know what? There we go. Much better. Gavin, final score.
I'm going to go 35-31.
Okay. Gonna mix it up every single time. Me, I'm being realistic, guys. I think it's gonna be Texas 55, OU probably 14. That's my guess. Justin, what are you thinking?
Texas 45, OU 42.
I mean, these are good picks. With it. It's definitely showing the rivalry. And at the end of the day, guys, it's any given day. At the end of the day, they could win, and no one will be surprised with it, because if OU wins, it's going to be, oh, well, Texas just really sucks. If Texas wins, oh, it's what was expected. So either way, neither team's going to get credit for it. So, Swiggy, any final thoughts before we wrap up?
Let's see. Nothing too much. Just same as I always think. College football is very week to week. You never know what's going to happen. Football is a very tough sport, and rivalry magic is a thing.
It is. Justin, any final thoughts?
Not really. Peter said it best. Just like with the NFL, any given Sunday, in this case, any given Saturday. So
Yep.
I don't know. We see
Just like
crazier
my dad says.
Yeah, we see crazier things happen. We saw like the two craziest shit ways after like the State games this year, and the craziest shit way they lost the game.
Well, and remember too, for all the OU fans watching, like OU has won situations like this before. 1996 or 7 was the situation where we won. So it's not outside the question. It's just, are they going to wake up for this game? Don't know. The difference is that team was loaded and had no injuries versus ours right now. Gavin, any final thoughts?
Oh, yeah, I'm going to just say I'm going to ride and die. Also, I just want to do this mention and just shout out real quick. I kind of don't usually share a lot of personal stories, but my dad actually, got done with his final round of chemo treatment yesterday and everything. So
awesome. Congratulations.
So I just want to say I want to give a huge shout out to him, and he'll be finishing radiation on Monday. So, I gotta say I give him all the love and praise to God more than anything. So, like I said, cancer sucks, guys, and everything. So, I will always say this, like, if anything, like, get your health checked up, all that and everything, because you might never know, it could happen to you. I mean, I've had both my parents, have different cancers and everything too, and they both fought through it. So, I would just want to just give a shout out on that.
Yeah, shout out to your dad. I have a neurologist appointment tomorrow myself. See whether or not I have to stay on my seizure medication.
Yeah. Well, hopefully everything goes well for you, Justin. It's just standard checkup, and now see, Gavin, OU has to win now. Because he was in his last round of chemo. OU has to win as that reason.
Yes, exactly.
Only final thing I have to say is Swiggy, number 2. let the rematch commence. Because for all of y'all who do not know, this week Swiggy and I are number 1 and number 2 in our fantasy league, and it is a rematch of the finals from last year. So bring it on. Bring it
I'm
on.
1-3. I'm 1-3. I'm pretty much already taken at this point.
I might be screwed. I might be screwed. Jonathan Taylor's out this week.
Hey, I don't mind going up 5-0. I'm just saying.
I'm just saying. Yeah, I'm just saying. I got some injuries, and I hate that. And once again, as always, Thursday night football can suck it.
Hey, Wednesday night football right now, UCF and SMU are playing.
UCF won 41-19. And just as a reminder for people who do care about the NFL, and since there are fantasy people here, we have another London game this weekend. Giants versus the Packers. That game starts at 8:30 Sunday morning.
Yep.
If you want a good commentary while watching the game, tune in to Tom Grossi on YouTube while watching the game.
Yeah. All right, guys, we're wrapped up. So hopefully everything goes well. Everyone, be sure to comment, rate, subscribe, like, and hit the notification bell so you know when we go live or when I upload a video. Be on the lookout for my OU Texas preview tomorrow. We discussed a little bit of it here tonight, but I'll go a little more in depth with that video with it. Otherwise, regardless of what it is 9:34 p.m. Texas sucks. Boomer Sooner. There's only one Oklahoma. We don't do horns down for peace. We do horns up for peace. We throw them down here. So hopefully, make me a believer, OU. Make me a believer. Make me a believer and not be realistic. Prove me wrong. So anyway, Boomer Sooner, only one, guys. I'll see everyone here and next week. Have a good one.
Peace out.
Have a good one.
Take care.
Later.